right, the next ones I'm going to show you are going to be our Red Foot Tortoise. This is their winter setup for this year. Next year, they won't be able to be in this. Next year, probably the sulcata will be in this. And I will be creating them something much larger in the garage that I can, but this year I didn't plan very well this year. And when I went to set up the garage stuff, it was there. I wasn't gonna be able to keep it cool, warm enough for them. So I'm gonna have to plan next year. And I think what I'm gonna do next year is build like kind of like a greenhouse type deal for them that I will be able to maintain heat and moisture inside better. But anyway, there are 3 of them in here. This one right here is Selena. She's my biggest, and I am guessing she's the female. This one right here is Ivy. Ivy used to be the biggest, but Ivy kind of stopped growing as much. And Ivy I thought was a female, but I'm thinking Ivy may be a male now. I don't know, maybe not. I mean, there's a little bit of a deal. I don't think it was Selena. Maybe it was Selena that I thought was maybe a male. I don't know. We'll see. This doesn't really have the. For a while there, they had a really big thing. I'm hoping those are both my females. And then this over here, this is Bruce. Bruce is a male. He can tell he's kind of starting. He has that kind of like pinched sides that males kind of get. And if I can hold this up, the cat's in here, so I'm trying not to take everything off. He does have that curved plastron, and he has the longer tail. So that's Bruce. We haven't had Bruce's long. You'll notice Bruce's. You'll notice his shell. He does have a little bit of slight pyramiding. It's not bad pyramiding. It's a very minor pyramiding. But we've only had Bruce for just over a year. So he had that pyramiding before I got him. I've had the girls, I've had them since they were the same size as, or smaller, like the same size as what I got the sulcata. So like hatchlings. And they've got really nice shells with just very, very minor, like pyramiding type stuff compared to Bruce. But Bruce isn't that bad. I think Bruce's will kind of, it's already the new growth is starting to flatten out some. So anyway, I'm going to finish getting them their food and their water set up. They have a misting system that mists and creates some moisture, and then I spray. I put water in here. I do soak them. It's not the best setup for them, but they do get. It does provide them with quite a bit of moisture. This light's typically right there. So that's their UVB daytime heat. These long ones are their sorry, I'm trying to squirt and concentrate. The long ones are their UVB. They don't really provide much heat at all. And then this one is Chi. It doesn't provide any light. It just provides heat. So at night, all of these will turn off and it'll be dark in here, and they'll have heat from that. But this room also stays, because there's heat on in the house, so this room also stays pretty darn warm, like all the time. So they really don't need a lot of extra heat. I just have the Chi because when I first brought them in here, they weren't getting any, this room wasn't getting any extra heat. We actually still had the air conditioner on, and this room was slightly on the chillier side. But when at night, they do have a cool side and a warm side. So that would be the warm side over there, and then over here where the water was at would be the cool side, and they can go wherever they want. And since I put the moisture down and I spray everything daily, there's different moisture levels. This dirt is actually about 6 inches deep that they can dig into, so they can dig down to their moisture levels, and I'm still soaking them throughout the winter time. So anyway, that's the Red Foot Tortoises. I think we only have the rest of the spiders left. There's quite a few of them. I'll show some of them as I'm feeding here in the next bit, and see who I can show and who I can't show. And then, oh, and then we have the other bulldog and the puppies. We are keeping one of the puppies, and the other puppy's going to our son. So I'll show them too. And then that will be the full farm tour. Okay, so this is my pelma calcotes enclosure. She does have her burrow sealed, so I won't be able to show any feeding of her, but I will. I do have some pictures of her, so I will post a picture of her. She was sealed up since June. I kind of got really worried, so I opened it up about 2 weeks ago, and when I opened it up 2 weeks ago, she did take a roach at that point, but then she sealed it right back up. She hasn't buried the entrance, but she is still sealed up. So I'm going to leave her, and I'm not going to open that back up and feed her. So I will show a picture of her though, because I do have a picture of her. So. Okay, so this is one of the GGB slings I have. Before I post this video, I am going to try to post a video of Sage, like from the time I got him, like all my pictures and videos I have of him since I sent him off to be bred. He did make it to the breeder, to the guy that's going to breed him. And the guy that's going to breed him did say that he would send me some pictures and videos of the breeding. So I will post those as I get them. But this is one of the slings that I have. Does like to web up around the lid, so I try to be really careful about and it's out and loose, so let me catch it. I should have done this in my other deal, but I really just didn't want to do that. And I scared him when I took the lid off and did all that. That just kind of scared him. So if I can get him to go back into the enclosure, it'll be fine. Just see if I can get him to go back into the enclosure and not bolt again. These guys can be bolty as small slings. But I mean, you just have to be super slow and gentle with them. And now he's back. I don't know, but I don't know sex on these guys yet. And I don't know what happened to my other tongs. I haven't been able to sex molts out. But again, I hope you saw that. He snagged that right away. These guys don't like a ton of moisture, so I just put a little bit into their bowl, and that's it. So that's this one. I have one other GGB sling. Put this one back and I'll grab the other one. This is my other GGB sling. It's a, I should say it's a Pelma cynopubescens, or a green bottle blue. This one is slightly bigger. I'm thinking this one could possibly be a male. I don't like these enclosures because they seal down, but they are crystal clear. These guys have just about outgrown it, and so they started kind of webbing towards the top a little bit. I'm gonna feed this one, and then after I feed this one, we're gonna pause. I'm gonna figure out where my other tongs are. This one does look like it's getting pre-molty, but he ate, so that's all that matters. So these are my GGBs, or green bottle blues. And I'll zoom in so you can, I think I can zoom in, maybe. I guess I can't zoom in. Anyway, green bottle blues. All right, so this is one of my Carabina versicolors. I looked, and I don't see it on the lid, so I think we should be good. Oh yeah. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It is right down there. Let's see. I don't know if you can see. It's right down there. Maybe it'll come up when I put a roach in. I don't know. Sometimes these guys will eat right off and sometimes they won't. It just depends. It just depends on their mood, on whether or not they're going to eat right away. But they are pretty good eaters. I have had these guys on me before, and they're not too bad, so I'm not so worried about my fingers with these. She is webbing down there. That's probably all we're gonna get. Now, I don't know on these about male, female. As of yet, their molts have been too small for me to even attempt to sex, so I haven't even tried. But anyway, so that's this one. I will go ahead and get my other Carabina versicolor, and we'll do that one next. All right, this is my other one. It's right there. We might be able to see it when I take the lid off. So it's got a little web tunnel right there and another one right there. I'm going to try to get the roach to go in there and maybe see if it'll come out. So these guys are usually really good eaters, except for right when they're going to molt. And both of these guys just molted not too long ago. So I'm going to put the roach over on this side because she's facing that way. And we'll see if she grabs it. Last week they snagged the roaches. This week they're not really doing it. I don't know if you can see. Let's see. I don't know if you can see. She's got the really pretty blue color. And then she'll be really pretty molted color when she's bigger. I'm hoping at least one of these is a female. I don't really know. And we won't know for a little while yet because they're tiny. But anyway, those are my Carabina versicolors. I can't remember what they're called, what their common name is. I think their common name is something like Achilles pink toe. I don't really know. I only know a few common names because I don't use common names usually. So anyway, we'll move on. All right, so this one is my G Rosea sling. It's a Gramastola rosea. I think that's the rosy something. I don't know. It is a sling, and Gramastolas grow extremely slowly. And this one did not eat last time. I can see the roach right there. So I'm going to grab the roach and just take the roach out, because that means this one is getting ready to molt soon. And you can kind of look and see. Anyway, there's not much to look at with this little sling. I'm going to add some water to the enclosure, and since she's going to be molting pretty soon, I want to make sure there's plenty of moisture in here for her. Slings need a little extra moisture. Even though this is more of a dry species, these little tubs dry out kind of quick, so I'm going to give it a little extra moisture. But anyway, that's my G Rosea. Okay, so I typically don't move her enclosure, but this is Corey, my Acanthoscura geniculata. She is confirmed female. This will not be her permanent enclosure. I kind of don't like this enclosure. I think it might be good for a smaller tarantula, and in a smaller size this might be okay, but in this particular size, this enclosure warps. This is one of the oh, it says on the front of it, I can't remember, the Zilla, it's the Zilla micro habitat enclosure. I have these in a smaller size that I'm thinking will probably be okay. It's just this bigger size, this top kind of warps, and you see how it's kind of warpy out. I don't know if you can see, it's like kind of warping here. And then this top is pretty flimsy and kind of warpy on the top. It's okay for her for right now, but this is definitely not something that I want to keep her in long term. So this will not be her permanent enclosure. And normally I do not move this enclosure, but I went ahead and moved it. I think when I put she's down in there, I think when I put a roach in, I'll be able to get her to come up. So you'll be able to see her. I'm trying to get one that's a decent size, but she's not eating adults yet. So bad thing is I can't see the spider. I'm gonna come around here where I can maybe try to see her. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this so I can see her. I'm just gonna take the camera off of the tripod. Okay, so I stopped and I flipped this around because I wasn't going to be able to film that way. So she is down right in there. So when I put the roach in, try to hold this. The reason why I got this camera stand was so I wouldn't have to try to hold a flashlight and hold the camera as well. I would like it to focus down there. because when I drop the roach in, that's where the roach is going to go, and she's going to come out and hopefully grab it. There she is. Like I said, she's my Acanthoscura geniculata. She always eats really well, except for when she's going to pre-molt. And we probably won't get to see much of this. Like I said, I don't usually move her enclosure, and I moved it, so that freaked her out a little bit, but there she is. Okay, so with this next one, I'm pretty sure she won't eat. She hasn't eaten in about 2 weeks. She's in pre-molt, but this is my Aviculara. You can kind of see her right there. I will attempt to feed her, but like I said, she hasn't eaten in about, I don't know, it's probably been 2 or 3 feedings that she hasn't eaten. And she is in pre-molt. Her booty is pretty fat, but you're not going to be able to, even if I take this off, you're not going to be able to get any better look at her. She just, even from my side, she's all like covered up. I will get a roach and try her head's on this end right here. So I will try to put the roach right there and see if she'll take it. Normally she will take the roach off my tongs when she's eating, but like I said, she hasn't wanted to eat. I will give her a slightly smaller roach and see if that doesn't encourage her to maybe take it. Oh, she took it. Look at that. You got to see a feeding. She did take it. So now she'll do a little bit of a happy dance. Just a little bit. I wish I could show you a better view of her instead of her belly, but you can't even see her from my side. So there she is. I'm going to spritz her enclosure. So these guys do like, they like more humidity, but at the same time, they need a lot of ventilation. You'll notice I have super ton of ventilation. So I do give them more moisture than I give some of my other guys, and it has a super big, huge water dish that I keep full. That's for humidity, but what people were finding out was they would give them all this humidity and they wouldn't put enough ventilation in, and then their spiders are dying. So they found out if they provide tons of ventilation and the humidity, then their spiders do really well. And so far it's been doing pretty good. I just spritz some of the sides and then keep that water bowl filled, and then they have all the ventilation, and she seems to be doing good. So this is my Aviculara. I don't think she's any of the special morphs. I know like they have different morphs. I don't think she's any of the special morphs. I got her from Petco, so it just said Aviculara. And that's what I'm thinking, which is just some sort of pink toe. I don't know. But anyway. Okay, so this one is my trying to get this first name. Tarantulas muticus, I think. I probably didn't get that first part. Or I don't know. And I can't look it up because I got my phone. Anyway, it's the king baboon. This is another African species. He was just up here at the top. He's really pretty red. This has been the only one that gave me a threat pose as a super small sling. It's the only one that makes me a little nervous. He's down in that burrow. I'm gonna see if I can't get a roach up in here and get him to come up. If not, I will see if I can. I do have pictures of him. I will see. I can see him in the burrow. He's got a little bit of a window here, and his burrow goes all the way down on the bottom. But I'll see if I can get him to come up to the top. without freaking out, because he does kind of scare me. Let me see if I can. So this is a obligate burrower. I do have this set up. This is a smaller setup, but I wanted it so he could have a deep burrow. He went all the way back down to the bottom. Hold on, put the roach right there. And I'll show you. Let's see if I can show you. I don't know if you can see him. Maybe if I get the roach, give the roach to him, we'll be able to see him with the roach down at the bottom. He doesn't really like the light. I'm gonna put the lid back on, so if he decides to move, come back up to the top, I still have to give him some water. If he decides to come back up to the top, okay. I do have pictures of him. I don't know if you can see legs in there and see him a little bit. I can't really tell, but I will post a picture of him because I do have a picture of him. I'm gonna give him some water real quick. He does like it a little bit more moist, so I'm gonna give him it. He buries his water dish, so I just give him some squirts. There's a water dish right about in that general area. That's about as good as I can do though, because he will bury it. As soon as I put a new water dish in there, he'll just cover it right back up with dirt. So I just squirt that general area, and that's how I feed him. I'm gonna go ahead and put him back because I pulled all the other guys. All the other teas that I'm feeding in this section are already here. So I feed my teas in groups of how they're stacked on my table. So this is one of my Titillaku. It's a T. abelosum. Used to be the Pelma abelosum, but they changed it. But it's the curly hair. This one usually eats fairly well for me. You can see it right there. It's really pretty and super curly. Let's see. Sometimes it'll grab the roach and eat it right away, and then sometimes I freak it out. This one's a little bit on the skittish side. My other one buried way down, and this one really hasn't burrowed at all. I have it in this, it's not very big this way or this way, but it's deep, but that I give it to be able to burrow, but this one doesn't particularly burrow. Which I'll remember next time when I rehouse it, that this one doesn't particularly burrow, and then I'll give it a wider enclosure that with not so much burrowing space, so that way it'll still have burrowing space, but it'll be wider when I get ready to rehouse it, which will probably be after this next molt. I'll go ahead and do that, but we're gonna drop this roach in. And there she is. I don't know if it's a girl or boy yet. I'm hoping for a girl because my other one did molt male. So I am really hoping for a girl on this one. He won't live long enough to breed her, but I am hoping that this one is a girl. This one does seem to be molting a little bit slower. So I am hoping for that it's a girl. I've got one more in this group. This next one is my Tarantulas. Hold on. Tarantulas murinus. I think that's how you say it. It's the OBT, but this is the red color form. This one usually doesn't come out when I'm feed It is right there. I don't know if I have any decent pictures of it, and I don't know if you can see because of the glare. It normally won't come out when I feed. It usually stays in its little burrow, so you probably won't get to see anything. And I always have to try to figure out which hole I'm going to stick food in. I think I'm going to try to stick food right here into this little enclosure. Dun, 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 dun. And it was coming up, and as soon as I stuck the roach in there, it fled. So that's probably as much as we're going to get to see of it. I will see if I have any pictures of it. It is starting to get some of the red. It just doesn't have very much of the red yet, but it is starting to get the red. It's kind of a orangey brown right now. I do have another OBT, which I'll do here in a little bit, and that one is the regular color form, so the like regular yellow color, but we'll do that one here in a little bit. So anyway, I will be back with another group here in just a minute.